The most valuable New Year's step-ups to date are here. But should you summon? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at the dual Carnival and Dokkan Fest New Year's step up. That's right. The New Year's step up this year is better than we could have ever possibly imagined. It is a Carnival and Dokkan Fest banner, ending with the final step at a possibility of getting LR Jiren or LR Tech UI Goku. So in this video, we're going to talk about whether or not you should spend your 200 to 600 stones to do the steps on this banner. We're going to do this a little bit differently. We're still going to take a look at the main draw characters, kind of talk about what they do. We're going to take a look at the banner itself, and then finally we're going to take a look at what lies ahead in order to make the determination on whether or not you should summon, because whichever you summon on, right, I doubt you're going to go all 1200 for all three steps on both banners, but you may consider doing a round on one or a round on each, right? So we're going to determine whether or not there is value there for you. So before we hop in, I do just want to say, like, man, did we call this hard. Nobody was saying that UI or Jiren would show up here, and yet pretty happy that it was right. And it's almost like, if we just take a look at our video here, right, it's almost nearly identical to what we anticipated it being. Like, I'm actually pretty impressed that we called this here, but that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw that in there. So first, let's start with the main draw units, right? If you're summoning on the Dokkan Fest, you're probably summoning here to get a copy of Tech UI because you missed him back during anniversary, or possibly on the Carnival banner for your shot at picking up LR Jiren. So starting with UI, we're not going to go into full details of his kit. We basically understand what they do at this point. They've been around long enough on both versions, right? UI is a basic dodge or die unit when in base form. He's got a little bit of guard and to help him get through some normals should he fail that dodge, but he basically just has to hold out until, you know, he can activate his domain from his 5th entry turn, right? And that's one of his biggest problems, right? That 5th entry turn makes it really hard sometimes. But what's nice about UI, and the thing that makes him as good as he is actually his support, believe it or not. He's got 30% support defense on his ultra super attack and 30% support attack on his 12 key, and then it gets better when he transforms into Ultra Instinct, right? Because when he transforms into Ultra Instinct, now he's doing 59% attack and defense for allies, on top of providing them his domain buff. His domain buff is giving 15% to all allies, right? I actually think we have to go back to regular UI to see the buff here, right? So once the domain buff goes up, 15% to all allies, and then another 15% for Realm of Gods. Also getting rid of dodge canceling and making an additional 10% dodge to his partners on his first appearance as Ultra Instinct. So it's really, really good. Add that to, like, the crit counters that he can do. He is, I mean, he's an incredible unit once transformed. Arguably one of the best LRs when in this form. The thing that holds him back is his base form, right? Jiren, on the other hand, right, his base form, same thing. I mean, it's nothing too crazy to write home about. It's just basically he's a wall. He comes in, he nullifies an attack, and then, well, not nullifies, but action cancels, and then holds out till he can stand by on turn 3 or his second appearance, and then he becomes basically invulnerable for 3 turns. Once he's out of standby, he comes into full power, and once he hits full power, he becomes incredibly powerful. Now, you know, being able to launch one massive attack, and if you're lucky to get him to get a super attack in before he launches that attack, he's even more powerful. He's an incredible unit. Where his value really comes is in his support. So honestly, if you're going to summon for these guys, I do not recommend recommend summoning, right, like until you get them, right, like going until you get them. But if you were to summon on the step up with the hope of getting him, they're honestly worth it in that regard. But I don't think they should be chased on these banners, right, because they are likely to return sometime in the near future. Goku for sure will return on Saiyan Day on March 18th. There's a chance we could see Jiren during the anniversary. If not by anniversary, we'll see him again in June on Tanabata banner. So, I mean, I wouldn't fret too much on that, but as a unit, they are worth a summon. So I will say that, right? So that's one in the category for summon for them as the unit. But of course, they do not exist alone, and they do not exist in a vacuum. They are here on a banner that you have to spend 200 stones to get to. Now, you could get lucky and pick them up anywhere unfeatured at any step. They are just sort of higher guaranteed rates at any one, right? So basically the way this step up works, right? So if we'll pull up in the news here so you guys can see the breakdown. Right, so there's the Carnival and then the Dokkan Fest, right? So the basic breakdown is, right, the first step is 20 stones and you can get any of the super easy A's from this year, which is pretty much exactly what we expected, right? Super easy A's from this year, 20 stones. The second step is the easy A step, right? Any Dokkan Fest TUR easy A for 30 stones, and then you can pick up anybody from Bojack to Tech Boo, right? So honestly, not that bad. This is pretty much everybody. I mean, it's actually kind of better than what we anticipated, right? Because I assumed they were going to throw like Super Vegeta and AGL Bardock on here. So kind of nice that they narrowed it down to just a few less choices here. Makes it a little bit easier. Although I do notice that Gotenks is not on here, which is odd, right? But on this step with the Easy A, you also have a chance of getting, right, full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, I know a lot of people don't like him, but because he has shown a lot of aging. But, you know, there's a chance he could see a resurgence depending on how they handle Anniversary. If anything gives buffs to, right, GT Heroes, he might see a resurgence. Who knows, right? Moving on from there, the previous year's TURs, as expected, right? Actually... let's see here, right? So, I mean, yeah, step 3 and step 4, I mean, they kind of mixed them around, but it's basically what we expected to see from the TURs, right? The first step is the heroes, although I didn't expect to see the Gammas on here. That's pretty surprising. And then the next step is slightly more recent. So I thought they would split it up between Super and Extreme, but they just kind of split up the order of releases, which is fine. I mean, it's still the same amount, but once you get to the final step, though, step 5, you also get a chance of getting a Tech UI or any of the recent Dokkan Fest. Now, because this is a step-up banner, at any one of these steps, right, in the 20-stone step, the 30-stone step, or any of the 50-stone steps, you could pull any one of the any one of the units, right? So you could theoretically do your 20-stone step and pull Tech UI, right? That's the thing about this. Like, it's kind of crazy. It's an incredible value. This is probably one of the most valuable step-ups we've had in quite some time, even if all of these units aren't the best, right? Even the fact that they added an Easy A steps is pretty valuable. All of these Easy A's are incredibly useful, except maybe Videl. Oh, Videl can have some use, right? The previous year's TURs, not as much, but that's always going to be the case with a step up. So the DFE banner, I would say, probably holds the most value compared to the Carnival banner, and that's just simply because of the way the Carnival banner breaks down. And we kind of figured it was going to have to be that way, right? Just because there's only so many Carnivals that they can use, right? So the DFE banner holds a lot more value because it gives you access to UI, Topo, Tech Vegeta, right? And a lot of these great Easy A's and Super Easy A's. On the Carnival sides of things, though, things are a little bit different, right? Step 1 is a 20-stone banner units guarantee, which, I mean, Dispo, Tech Boo, Vegeta are probably the best here. Gotenks actually is pretty good too, right? So, I mean, there is some value on the first 20 stone step. On the 30 stone step and easy LR, almost none of the, I mean, these two can kind of find some use on certain teams, but the value is not quite there. But again, to be expected with yellow coin LR easy A's. In terms of the next step, the third step, the 50 stone step, this allows you, this one's actually a little bit better. It gives you a chance at Omega, Riku, Bulma, Boo, Golden Frieza, Goku Gohan, Zamasu, right? So, like, getting Boo, Bulma, or Omega is probably pretty good. And, like, even if Omega isn't the best right now, just simply because he's been so limited, this is incredibly valuable for a lot of players, because there aren't going to be many chances that you're going to be able to use to pull for Omega, even if he happens to be, getting buffed during the anniversary. The next step 4 is actually probably the best step on here, right? Because this gives you a chance at Tech Jiren, Frieza in 17, LR Universe 7, Broly Trio, STRUI. I mean, he could still have some use. I have my problems with him, but a lot of people don't. But this is an incredibly valuable step. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the Fizz androids, all pretty good. So this is probably the best step. The final step with Jiren is the next best step, right? You have Jiren, you have Cell Max, Ultimate Gohan, and then you have the U2 Trio and Captain Ginyu. All of, a pretty good step. The last two steps are pretty good, but compared to the Dokkan Fest, right, the Dokkan Fest, their steps are a little bit better just because you're going to get more mileage out of the DFEs and the EZAs that are available here comparatively, right? The step ups here, yeah, it's kind of hard to say. So I would say in terms of banner, the Dokkan Fest probably gets one for the category of summon, whereas the Carnival banner does not. So we've got one for each for the units themselves, and we've got one for the banner for the Dokkan Fest, and none for the banner for the Carnival. Which brings us to, of course, what we are all expecting, what lies ahead. Guys, we are a month away from the anniversary, right? It is currently January 1st as I am recording this, and of course, the anniversary is about 27 days away. Any stones you spend here are probably better spent at the anniversary, to be completely honest, right? We are already seeing certain levels of power creep, and it's only going to get worse as we approach the anniversary, right? These anniversary units are probably going to be beyond the level of Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and beyond the level of anybody here, even some of the easy A's that have been sort of ramped up a bit. So just know that anything you take from here is taken away from your anniversary summons in about a month. So in good faith, I can't recommend most players summon on this banner for that. So in terms of what lies ahead, neither banner gets it. So the real answer is it's dependent. Right? And I say that because you gotta take a look at your account. If you have an account that needs a majority of these characters here, or a majority of these EZAs, and can still benefit from pulling a copy of Tech UI, or on the opposite side, right? If you have an account that needs Jiren or Cell Max, or can benefit from a lot of the LR EZAs like these two here, right? Maybe you didn't pull them from with your Universal Survival Saga superhero tickets, right? Maybe you just didn't get them. If you can benefit from this, then there's value. I don't think you should go all 600 stones. I don't think you should do a bunch on... Honestly, I don't even think one of each is probably a good idea, unless you're a brand new player who still has that 7,000 Dragon Stones to grind from all of the Dokkan events, from all of the SBRs, from all of the quest mode, right? Unless you're a brand new player who has the stones to grind there, I don't think that you should do that. For most players, if you're anything over 1,000 stones, I would say you're probably in a good place to go maybe one round on each, but anything below that, I would say you need to pick one, right? Whether it's the Carnival or the Dokkan Fest, whichever is going to benefit you the most, and try your luck on one round of that, and then stop there, right? While we will be getting close to 500 stones during this campaign, unfortunately, it's just you know, you don't want to take too much away from your anniversary summon. So pick one, do a round on it. If you get lucky, you get lucky. At the end of it, you'll still have a bunch of stuff that will help fill out your account, which is really what the benefit of the step up is. As always, the step up is mostly benefit for brand new players, with the option of getting now Tech UI or AGL Jiren at the end. But the reality is here, it's probably to benefit most players. That's just the kind of the way it always is, and that's the unfortunate reality of summoning on these banners. So guys, that is it for the video. That is my recommendation on whether or not you should summon. Depending on what you need for your box, make your choice. Do one round only, and then begin continuing your saving. That's my recommendation for this banner. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below, let us know, did you decide to jump on in and summon on the step ups? Let us know how it went if you decided to. I'm curious to see how you guys did. I know many of you out there are probably watching this as new players, and you are excited to fill out your box as you prep for the anniversary. So let us know how it went in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.